Welcome to SportsTalk Philadelphia, where we like to end our semesters on a high note. This week, in 2005, the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Seattle Seahawks by a score of 42-0. That's it. That's all that happened this week in Philadelphia in the last 20 years. Other exciting moments this semester that we weren't able to cover include Deshaun Jackson's punt return to win the game against the Giants, as well as the introduction of today's fan favorites in Philly sports, Ben Simmons.
A real strong professional veteran with these young players. Simmons stands the right hand, goes up and under, long strides at 6'10". And Simmons gets his first NBA bucket.
And Carter Hart.
Here's Hughes giving it across. Oh, what a save! Made by Hart on Hall! My goodness!
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk Philadelphia here on LaSalle TV. I'm your host, Josh Abrams. Today we're going to talk about the Eagles and the Sixers, and joining me to talk Eagles today is Gia Lancey, Tori Walker, and Sam Long. It has been an awful couple of days this week. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know what to say. Let's just recap what happened on Sunday. So the Eagles go into Miami, a lot of implications on the line for playoffs and whatnot. They go in there and you can't really say that they left a goose egg up there because they scored 31 points, but their defense certainly did. The defense didn't show up. They gave up 37 points to Miami. It was just a very bothersome game overall, not only because we saw an improved play out of Carson Wentz that we had been asking for the last couple of weeks, but mainly because of the defense. I mean, how do you decipher the defense playing so well against teams, playoff contending, Super Bowl contending teams in New England and Seattle, and then all of a sudden we go down to Miami and we let up 350 plus yards?
Well, I mean, obviously going into that game, we were not expecting that whatsoever. Everybody was expecting it to be an easy win. But the secondary, honestly, I think that the defense showed up for the first half. Yeah. But the second half, the secondary totally fell apart. And I mean, Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills. Jalen Mills looked like what he looked like last year when everyone hated him and wanted him off the team. And I mean, Ronald Darby hasn't, in my opinion, really showed up this season at all. But this game was sad for the both of them, specifically, yeah.
Yeah, same thing Gia said. Like, the first half, we was doing good, in my opinion. But, like, then in the second half, I mean, I think the Eagles just got a little too ahead of themselves. Like, you know, like, it's Miami Dolphins, like, easy win, you know. Right. So, I mean, I don't know. It's sad because our secondary still has a lot more to improve, and you know, it's coming up at the end of the season. Like, I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, definitely the secondaries didn't show up, but we can't also discount another big factor in this loss, which is the Fitz magic. I mean, we just can't play against the guy. I mean, our team just struggles against him. I don't know what it is. He is not good at all. He just shouldn't be in the NFL. I don't know what it is. There's no reason Devontae Parker should have looked like a top 5 wide receiver out there that game.
The top receiver this week in
it was
disgusting. I guess it's just Miami in general for the Philly sports teams. I mean, for the Phillies, it's totally the Marlins are our kryptonite. So I guess the Dolphins are also in that.
Sprinkle on some Fitz magic. It's a loss.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong about Ryan Fitzpatrick because last year when we went into Tampa Bay in Game 2, he lit us up for 400 plus yards. So this is really nothing new to us. But really, what's new is just not. I can't even say that it's new anymore. We haven't won. It's been 34 days, and counting, at this point since we won a football game. Our last win was in Chicago, and it's the same thing every single week. Whether if it's coming from Doug Peterson, or if it's coming from Carson Wentz, any of the team captains like Malcolm Jenkins or Brandon Graham, it is the same exact excuse every week. Oh, well, we have to be better. This loss is on me. What happened to Doug Peterson saying that the new norm was playing and winning football games in January and February? Making up excuses for losses consecutive losses now seems to be becoming the new norm.
Well, and don't you think that a big change needed to be made? Like, what was the only change that they made this week?
Well,
Matt Collins?
right, yeah. So on the graphic, you see that the coaches that are potentially in line to really lose their jobs after this year, I guess firing a position coach this far into the season may be a little bit unnecessary. It might not help anything.
That's true.
What do you guys think? If there's a lot of things that needs to be done to this team, but what do you think is the overarching factor? Like, what do they need to do?
Get some draft picks, help our defense out, in my opinion. Get a new corners, and just because our secondary is just, is not good, not
Needs
playing
help,
good at all.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, they're just spending too much time eating Haagen-Dazs ice cream and not spending enough time watching film.
I mean,
it's terrible.
I'm glad you alluded to that, Sam, because as minuscule as a factor it is in eating ice cream after practice. I mean, the team had off on Tuesday after losing in Miami, losing their third game in a row. None of their players played in the preseason. I mean, I think some things are starting to add up here, guys. This Eagles team clearly was not prepared for this season.
And I think that earlier on in the season when we had the opportunity to get somebody big like Jalen Ramsey, that was something that could have changed the season totally. And it's really disappointing that something like that didn't happen.
How much of this do you guys place on the GM, on Howie, if at all? There has to be some sort of blame for him.
I don't blame a lot of the on-field struggles on Howie, but it's completely his fault we didn't bring someone in.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
So, obviously it was just an excruciating week. Another change that was made, I guess, to make some sort of noise was we cut Matt Collins. I mean...
Yeah, the only thing he's done for us really is the backpack dance. So
on that one touchdown he caught for us.
Yeah.
So I guess looking ahead, I mean, it's all divisional games from here on out, and it's kind of bittersweet because we control our own destiny. Do we have any sort of confidence in these last 4 games? in us in these last 4 games?
It's like 2 trash cans are racing for so I don't know. No, I really don't.
So if we
It's we lose against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do against the Redskins and the Giants? They're similar teams.
Tori, what do you think
Even
about
better.
these
So
last 4 games?
if we win these 4 games, we'll be 9-7.
Right.
So would that get us a chance to be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we have to.
So I mean, just keep it going. To be honest with you, I don't really know who they play. But
Well, it's all divisional games, but the big thing is Week 16 at home against Dallas.
Okay. Oh.
It's going to be ugly.
I don't know about that game.
Sam?
So,
I mean, this should bring up the question. Do we want to win these games? Do we want to go on a playoff run? Or do we want to not win? Get a good pick in the draft next year, good spot, maybe get some young talent in there. I don't know.
Right. Well, what do you think, Gia?
I mean, I think that the season's not over yet. So I don't know. I don't think that we're at that point yet. Maybe if we lose against the Giants, maybe start thinking about that. But I think that there's still a chance to make it to playoffs. I don't know how far we're going to get in playoffs, but
That's really what's so bittersweet about this whole ordeal is that we're 5-7, and really in any other division in football, we would be out of it.
Right.
The season would be over, but because the Cowboys are ahead of us only by a game, we have a chance to make the playoffs. And yes, winning out will get us into the playoffs because if we beat Dallas, we're going to end up having not only a tied division record, but we're going to own them in terms of common opponents because they lost to the Jets, they lost to the Bills,
Right.
And we beat those teams obviously. So it's really going to be interesting to see how it all turns out. Speaking of the Giants, that is our upcoming game, and really the one person that we have to worry about, at least from a talent perspective, as of recently, is this guy, Saquon Barkley.
yeah.
He has done more than a number on this Eagles team. Now he's only played 2 games, so it's a small sample size. But he's rushed for over 100 yards in each game, and he's also racked up a lot in the receiving game. So I mean, are we going to stop him this weekend?
No. Last season, it was the same thing. Both games were the Saquon show against us. And, I mean, I think I was going to say I think our defense is a little better this year, but I don't know because of this last game. But I don't know. It's really tough. But I think that Saquon is going to do the same exact thing and perform the same exact way as he did last season.
I have high hopes for our defense because, I feel like ever since Saquon got injured, he hasn't been playing the same, in my opinion. So, if our defense stops him, that'll be good for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, looking at last week, looking ahead, when Daniel Jones was still probably going to be playing quarterback, the Giants' wide receivers aren't terrible. They aren't terrible throwing the ball, but with Eli Manning behind center, Saquon's the only concern we have at this point. I mean, the ball's not going to anyone.
No, that's a good way to think about it. I mean, that's probably a big reason why Barkley racked up all of those receiving yards against us. Let's go to our picks. I'm feeling not that confident, but confident enough for us to eke out a win. 28-27 is my score prediction, with Brandon Graham ending up being the MVP. I really picked Brandon Graham because I don't think we have seen a sort of breakout game from him in at least a month now.
Yeah.
And it should be easier for him to get to Eli Manning, a little bit easier at least, than it is to get to Daniel Jones. For whatever reason, I think it's going to be close, and it's a divisional game, so I think that's pretty accurate. But Gia, how are you feeling?
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be kind of a boring game. I mean, I know it's a tough matchup, but I just feel like it's not I think our defense will step up, hopefully Fletcher Cox. So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think it's going to be an extremely offensive game.
Now, Tori, you feel pretty confident in a two-score game.
I feel like they were embarrassed by last game, so it gives them a chance of redemption for sure. And I think Nelson Aguilar, I like him as my MVP for this game, because he hasn't been really playing that good this season. So he's going to bounce back in this game.
Okay.
I like the confidence in that. Sam?
Yeah, I have zero confidence. I took the Giants in this one 27-3. Eli Manning is my MVP.
27.
Why, you might ask?
Please.
Because I was furious when I submitted this pick. I was still not over that Miami loss.
When did you send in the pick? Was it
That doesn't
just
matter.
coming?
That doesn't
That
matter.
doesn't matter.
But,
He's still mad right now.
Yeah, I'm still mad at this very moment. So my anger, my frustration, it flowed into that pick. It's not correct. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen.
Well, you went with your gut, and that's all that matters. It has to be a bounce-back game this week for the Eagles. They have to beat the Giants. They got to get back on track. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to talk some Sixers, so stay tuned.
According to the Mayo Clinic, exercising has stress-busting benefits by bumping up your endorphins and improving your mood.
Welcome back to Sports Talk Philly here on LaSalle TV. I have the same crew with me to talk some Sixers today. Guys, let's get right into it. This is going to be a much more positive talk segment than the last one, obviously. The Sixers are actually starting to perform really, they're starting to mold into the team that I think we were expecting them to be. Since the last time we talked about them, they've only lost 2 games. And it's going to be kind of a trend, I think, where these losses that we talk about are going to be on the road, because the Sixers are undefeated at home. And yes, they're one of 3 teams remaining in the East with an undefeated record at home, but that's got to be at least a motivating factor in terms of, it's either going to be home or away, and if it's home, you feel pretty good.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that? Just really anything about the Sixers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not like coming into this season, there was like a few losses that I was like, really? And you know, they were winning in the very beginning, and like everyone was like, yeah, the Sixers are like, they had 5 undefeated in the very beginning of the season?
What?
They started off 5.
Yeah, I think 5-0 sounds about right.
But anyway, so like, you know, that gave us really big hopes. And then they were getting some flosses, and like, I don't know. I just feel like they're not consistent yet, and like they should be. So that annoys me. But the home wins are exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We still have a long season to go. So, I mean, with Ben Simmons playing like how he is right now, I think, you know, nobody could really stop him, in my opinion. And just to get Joel Embiid going, Joel Embiid is his running mate. So just to get him going, those two guys going, we'll be fine, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see one Philly team doing good. The Flyers aren't too hot right now. Eagles, I'm still fuming over here about it. But yeah, I mean, you're holding down your fort, you're holding down your castle. Every home game, you're going to be bringing that same energy in. Like, we want to keep winning at home.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's obviously, again, it's a motivating factor. It gives us an immediate advantage when we play at home. But I guess, you know, when we go on the road and we struggle the way we do, like we did against Toronto, for example, that's got to be kind of concerning because, you know, I'm looking at that Toronto game, and that's a divisional game. That's the first time that we played them since Kawhi broke our hearts last semester. And we just, you know, we only lose by 5, but it's, you know, Embiid putting up 0 in Toronto. Like, that's how concerning is that?
It was extremely concerning. I mean, and it was just like out of nowhere. Like, what happened to you? Like, and there wasn't. I mean, I know we talk about like Embiid a lot, really not taking care of himself, and like that's kind of what I attribute it to be. Like, why, where were you? And like, why did that happen? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Why is he gassed? Why does he look like he's already ready to come off when the second half just starts? You know?
Right. He's literally dripping.
Yeah,
all the time.
He's out all night the night before throwing down Shirley Temples. I mean, the guy's coming in exhausted, a little out of shape. I mean, you know.
It doesn't add up, though. Like, this is a professional basketball player. You cannot be out of shape.
But he's not just a professional basketball player either. Like, he is
He's a personality more than...
Well,
right.
that's true. Yeah, but I just mean he is a strong professional basketball player, not just any professional basketball player, you know?
Yeah. You alluded to it earlier, Tori. Ben Simmons, we knew about how well he played on defense, but what he has been doing the last couple of games, especially, and I don't remember which game exactly it was, but you know, 3 steals in the last 13 seconds. I mean, that's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and I mean, I think we're starting to see him make a case for himself as at least an All-NBA first-team defense.
Yeah, for sure. He's really bouncing back as a player. Last year, he didn't really do too well on defense, I don't think. So just to, you know, improve as a player is really helpful for our team.
And I think that, like, Ben Simmons' really strong defense, I think that comes at clutch moments. Like, I forget what game. We're thinking of the same game. But, you know, I mean, that was really clutch. And I think we were up, like, by 1 basket. So, like, you know, that was needed. And that first off, that was at home. Second off, it was really important that his defense came into play there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like he's finally becoming that Ben Simmons that we always thought he was going to be. Let's flash back, like, 2 years ago. Like, we were like, oh, we'll make excuses. Like, he's not playing that great. Oh, give him time. He's going to be an all-star. You know, look at him now. He's all grown up.
No, I mean, look.
Not yet. Almost.
He's getting there.
I know. He's still got a lot of developing to do, but as much as we want to sit here and you know, moan about how much he doesn't shoot, he still is a menace on defense. And, you know, we said coming into this year that this team, this 2019-2020 Sixers, was built for Brett Brown's style of coaching. With that being said, do you think Brett Brown has a good chance to stay in this city if he can at least, you know, bring this team to higher hopes than the past couple of years?
I think with the amount of talent he has right now, if they do not win the championship, or at least, okay, fine, go to the championship, Brett Brown's done. And I think he needs to be, because I think the blame would be on him.
Yeah, same with what Gia said. Like, it's been so long with him being here as a coach. So, like, in the amount of talent we have on the Sixers, we need to go to the finals. Like, it's just ridiculous. So,
right, I agree.
I mean, if we do, that'd be good. But if we don't, I think he's out of here. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Sam?
too mad thinking about the Eagles to talk about
Okay,
that.
all right.
I got you.
Brett Brown triggered Sam a little bit. So I guess looking at it's gonna be a long hiatus between our next episode, which means that the Sixers are gonna be playing a lot of games, and some of them are gonna be very key, very crucial. And again, Tori said that we have a lot of basketball left to be played, but those games, all Eastern Conference teams, all competing with us for a top 3 spot. I don't want the 3 seed anymore, guys. I want the top seed.
Let's go.
I want home
Yeah.
court in the
Speak
playoffs.
your mind.
We need to win these games. We need to win those games that were just shown in order to get that 1 seed.
The Celtics are hot right now.
And we were one of their only losses for a while. So I mean, just generally, do we feel good about those kind of games? Because we've shown that we've been able to beat the lower level teams, and even though we struggle against them, we still beat them. We need to pull out wins against these top teams.
Yeah. I feel like the game against Milwaukee, Christmas Day, that's going to be a great game.
It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a close game, actually, to be honest. But I think we're going to win that game, and that's going to boost us back to during the season.
To be Giannis.
Exactly. Yep.
How do you guys? Oh, Sam doesn't like that.
He doesn't want that one. No, but those are really tough teams. So I think it'll be a defining, I don't know, it was like 2 weeks? 2 weeks
Right.
for them. I mean, especially right now in the season when, still I don't think that they're a consistent team. So,
Right.
I mean, I'll understand it if they win those games. But they're definitely going to be close games. Celtics, Raptors, Bucks. Oh.
Have you lightened up a little bit down there?
Yeah, trust the process.
Is that
Yes,
all?
TCP.
Okay. Before we move on, something that's been kind of concerning me is that we said that the starting lineup coming into this year was a lot more improved. We lost J.J. Redick, but gained Al Horford and Josh Richardson in the process. The problem is that with this whole load management and just injuries in general, the Sixers haven't been able to really start together as a unit.
true.
And that kind of alludes to what you were saying, Gia, about their inconsistency. The starting lineup needs to play more games together in order to mesh better, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid both had injuries already
Right.
this season, and we're still in the first quarter of the season. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think I would like to see him. Because Josh Richardson's been out for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
So once he comes back, I think that hopefully nobody gets hurt in that meantime. You know what I mean? But
Right.
also they're really tough games. So who knows what's going to happen? Knock on wood that anyone important gets
Yeah,
hurt.
it's a long season to go, so I feel like we'll bounce back, in my opinion, for the Sixers.
Yeah, it's probably going to be hard to win these games over the break without a completely healthy starting roster. So
That's true.
something I'd like to see.
Yeah, sure. So the Sixers, they got a tough road ahead of them, but again, with the talent that they have, with the way that they've been playing and their defense, I mean, they're only giving up 103 points a game. That's obviously encouraging. We don't really see defense being the new norm in the NBA anymore with all the shooting and the scoring, but the fact that they're able to hold these teams to under 105 points, that's obviously got to be a good thing. What do you guys think about the defensive potential? We always say that Sixers have a great defense, but
Yeah. I mean, they're tied for 4th right now in the league for defense. So, I would like to see more coming from them, I think Ben Simmons has a big play into that, but I'm confident in their defense right now.
Yeah, same with Gia. Defense wins games, to be honest.
Sure.
So if you keep it up, we'll win these next few games coming up.
all right, well, that's going to do it for Sixers Talk. And since we are on the last episode of the semester of Sports Talk Philadelphia, we're going to go over and talk about who we think has been a shining star for the semester. And I'm going to start off, and we're going to go to the Flyers now. We didn't get to talk about them now, but now's a good opportunity to show off Travis Konechny. I would believe that without Travis Konechny, we would be a sub 500 hockey team. He has gotten off to an amazing start to his career. He is on pace to shatter his own personal records in goals and assists. He was a huge reason why we won in Prague against the Blackhawks, scoring 2 goals and adding an assist. In the games where the household names such as Sean Couturier and Jake Voracek and Claude Giroux, when those guys don't show up, Travis Konechny does. And that was kind of a thing he focused on in the offseason, was to just do what was right for the team, and it's turning out to turning out for a lot of benefits for him. So Gia, we're going to come to you.
Yes. So my start of the month has to do with November 20th, 2019, the best day of the year, this whole year, in Philadelphia sports, when Ben Simmons finally, not only did he take his first three, but he made it.
And he swished it.
Swoosh. Yeah. So, I mean, I still think he needs to take them more, but how lit was that?
Yeah, it was obviously lit. Right, we're going to need to see more out of him. Tori, you really like LeBron. Is he the MVP this year?
I believe so. First of all, LeBron's my favorite player. I love LeBron. Wherever he goes, I go. But last year he was averaging 27 points per game, so he's on pace to break that record this season, which he's averaging 25 points a game. So, and especially he has Anthony Davis on his team, so they're going to make a good run.
Now, LeBron going to the Lakers, he finally gets Anthony Davis, and he's actually healthy.
Yeah.
At least we hope. That's got to mean a complete flip of what the Lakers season was last year, right?
Last season, I feel like that the Lakers season was a little bit depressing. So this season, you have a bunch of stars. Dwight Howard, he made his first three the other day. And we got, who else? KCP, Anthony Davis. So we'll do good.
Yeah, the Lakers are probably going to be the top seed in the West. Sam.
I'll take it from here.
Please.
Gia, you mentioned the greatest day of the year so far. That's weird because you obviously didn't watch the Miami Chargers game where backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor entered the game. That's right. 1 attempt, 1 completion, 7 yards, 100% passing rating. Ridiculous the guy doesn't have the starting job. I mean, Phillip Rivers is going to go down. He's got 9 kids to look after. Tyrod Taylor, you saw what he did in Buffalo. Josh Allen, who? Tyrod. We forget about the Cleveland season. We needed to take Danger Baker in. Tyrod Taylor, GOAT, starting job.
You don't even say his name right.
He let it slide long enough. I can say what I want.
Well, now every Sports Talk viewer knows that Sam is in love with Tyrod Taylor. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of Sports Talk Philly. You can catch us on social media on Twitter at Sports Talk LTV. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalle TV. Sports Talk Philly is the specific website for us, and also find us on YouTube, where you can also check out the other LaSalle TV shows there. We hope everybody enjoys a safe and fun Christmas and New Year's. We're going to catch you guys in 2020, where hopefully the Eagles have turned things around and the Sixers and the Flyers are on their way up. Everyone enjoy their winter break. We will catch you guys next year.